Decision making in healing. Okay, another little bit of my story. So 20 years ago, I was living in Maine and the east coast of the States. I was married and I was not in a happy place. I had lived in California for a number of years before that, and I had done a lot of work around understanding the mind, body, spirit, emotions connection. Some work at a place called the Berkeley Psychic Institute. Look them up, they are still there. And they gave me the foundations of what was to be the foundations that I made my decision on. Fast forward to the cancer diagnosis. And I was told it was, people asked me for the specifics. I can't remember. I think I was told it was stage 3, but I was told by the doctors if I did nothing medical, I would have about 6 months. Those were the exact words. I don't remember everything, but I do remember that. And it was recommended I have a hysterectomy, radiation of the ovaries, removal of the lymph nodes. And as I was saying yesterday in the video, I spent about a week, I went into meditation. But as soon as I got the diagnosis, so before that, I'm going to swear here, by the way, so if there are children present, put your hands over their ears. I thought, fuck that. When I go, it's on my terms. Cancer is not taking me out. And that was to become the beginning of my healing journey. Now, I'm going to do loads of videos on my journey. They won't necessarily be in any chronological order. Sorry for those of you with the logical brains. That's not me. But I did the healing. So when I made the decision, I didn't make the decision with a load of knowledge that I would survive. So, and this is where I think people get stuck. I made the decision not knowing anything. I made the decision solely based on my intuition. I say solely based on my intuition, but also having done several years of intense work in the mind-body connection with a knowledge of this is possible. I had been involved in some specific kind of readings at the Psychic Institute called the medical intuitive readings, where we really got to see people healing themselves. So I knew what was possible for the body, the whole organism. And I thought, well, let's see if this works. So I didn't embark on this journey with any level of certainty or confidence. I just knew instinctively, intuitively, that what the doctors were telling me to do based on their model was not going to change what was really going on inside of me. Because what I realized when I got the cancer diagnosis was how depressed I was and how much I was not living the life I wanted to live. I'd literally got myself in a cul-de-sac. So cancer for me was a watershed moment. It gave me the opportunity to step out and reset everything. So this is all the awareness that was coming through when I got the diagnosis. It was almost like I went, oh, that's what's going on. Okay, now I've got a kind of idea of where I am. Now I can make some choices. So I had my in-laws family trying to shove me down a clinic and get, I'm going to do air quotes, fixed. And that was not what I wanted to do, and I think it's because instinctively I knew that's not where the healing was going to be, that I would, I was still going to have to deal with some deeper seated stuff, which I was right. I was absolutely right, because in dealing with all of those elements that came out over the next several years is how the healing occurred. It was not one thing. It was not specific treatments. People always ask me, what did you do? Like, there's a manual, and if I follow this manual, it's all going to be right. People, I'm sorry, but we're not built like that. We're all individuals. We're unique. And the keys are to open up that intuition, tune in, get some guidance, either with me, with someone else that you enjoy working with, to help you open up that path for yourself. So when I made that decision to heal holistically, I did so based on my instinct. And I think I said it in the video yesterday. I came out of this week-long meditation and I knew two things. I need to go back to the UK. I was living in the States, and I need to step out of this marriage because I'm not happy. And that is what I did. The other thing I did at that point is I went online, early stages of the internet 20 years ago, and I found someone who had a very similar diagnosis to me and read her story. And she herself was working as a healer. And I contacted her. We had a little chat. I knew instinctively when I spoke to her that she was not the person to help me on my path. But I also knew that connecting with her allowed me to see what was possible. And I thought, she's done it. I can do this. And that was the beginning of embarking on that healing journey from cancer. So it wasn't cognitive, planned, logical. You can't put it in a manual, I don't think. But there are keys that you can access to help anyone along their path. And it's not just, I mean, my area of expertise is health and well-being, but you could use this in relationships with jobs, etc., etc. So I'm going to leave it there today. But talking about that decision making, that comes from within you. And sometimes we have to get really, really, really quiet to hear that voice. And particularly for me, at that time where there was so much noise, there were so many people with opinions, I had to get rid of them all out of my head, my space, to be able to tune in and see what my inner guidance was. And that was to follow a holistic path. I didn't know at this point how it was going to unfold. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that's what I needed to do. And I was surrendered to not surviving. Because when I made the decision to follow this path, I was already at peace. I don't quite know how to explain that any other way, but I was already at peace. So there was no, I didn't know what was going to happen beyond that point. And I'm not saying it was this serene experience, because it wasn't. It was flipping hard, but that was the beginning. Okay. Have a lovely day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, evening in the world.